Welcome to the 13th edition of Climate Change. Let's look at the unpleasant news of the week first.
Heat waves are already crossing non-survivable thresholds, particularly for older populations. Even without reaching the earlier benchmark of 35 degrees Celsius, cities like Mecca, Bangkok and Phoenix have recorded deadly conditions. Human vulnerability is higher than previously assumed.
In the western United States, a record warm winter and intense March heatwave have wiped out much of the snowpack, one of the region's largest freshwater sources. Levels have fallen to as low as 23% of historical averages. Projections show water inflows to key reservoirs like Lake Powell dropping to just 22% of normal. The impact is cascading, from drought warnings to water restrictions and rising wildfire risk.
Argentina's move to dilute its glacier protection law could open up high-altitude regions for mining. Glaciers support water access for nearly 7 million people. The decision hurts long-term water security for short-term economic gains.
At a deeper level, complex feedback loops are being revealed. Studies from the Indian Ocean show that falling sea levels during glacial periods increases underwater volcanic activity, releasing heat and carbon dioxide. Climate systems are interconnected in ways that are still not fully understood.
Extreme weather events reinforce this view. Cyclone Mala, with wind speeds of 185 km per hour, has impacted over 73,000 people in the Solomon Islands. Vietnam faces heat waves exceeding 41 degrees. South Korea has been hit by intense storms, disrupting transport and daily life. Multiple extremes are occurring simultaneously across regions.
Looking ahead, risks may intensify further. Scientists are warning of a potential super El Niño, with a 62% probability of developing this year, which could push global temperatures to new highs and trigger extreme weather, from droughts in India and Africa to heavy rainfall in other regions.
But let us take heart that innovation continues to expand. Scientists across Africa are now pushing for fungal conservation, as fungi support 90% of plant life and store significant amounts of carbon. Yet less than 10% of fungal biodiversity hotspots are currently protected, highlighting a major gap in conservation priorities.
And there are innovations in India too. Bengaluru has launched a data-driven initiative to tackle urban heat islands, with plans to convert degraded land into climate-responsive green spaces. With a tenfold increase in built-up area and sharp declines in vegetation and water bodies, such interventions aim to restore ecological balance while protecting populations vulnerable to extreme heat.
At the grassroots level, climate action is becoming more creative. In Navi Mumbai, a group of teenagers had turned nearly 40 kilograms of plastic waste into eco-brick for building shelters for stray dogs during the monsoon. This small initiative has now grown into a network of over 200 young volunteers.
In agriculture, resilience is being discovered through biodiversity. Environmentalist Debal Deb has preserved over 1,400 indigenous rice varieties, many of which are naturally adapted to floods, droughts and pests. At a time when nearly 90% of traditional rice diversity has disappeared, this work highlights how traditional knowledge can strengthen climate adaptation.
And that's all. See you next week.